First, we'd like to start by saying our thoughts and prayers go out to John Fox and Gary Kubiak, two of the great coaches in our business that had setbacks physically this weekend, and sounds like both are doing well, but it's a very stressful business and a tough business, and we sure hope that for them and their families they recover very quickly and 100%. As far as the weekend, proud that we're 5-0, have 4 great games left for us, and the Big 12 has never been more exciting. I think right now this league race down the stretch is going to be the most exciting it's ever been in our league, but also I think it'll be the best in the country, because there's so many good teams in this league, and everybody's going to be playing each other here at the end, and it's going to be a fun-filled 5 weeks and 4 games for us, because it'll be really challenging, but something that everybody can enjoy watching. Injury report, David Ash had some symptoms reoccur, so right now he is obviously out for West Virginia, but until they worked him out some outside of practice, just the trainers, and since the symptoms have reoccurred, we'll have to wait and see if he is available for next week. And as we said, he would have to come back and work himself into shape anyway, so I'm not seeing him coming back very quickly. Other injuries, we had some guys banged up during the game, but they seem to be in a good place. Seems like all will be able to practice on Tuesday and should be ready for the game on Saturday. The one question mark was Tevin Jackson. He had a sore knee, and they will check him today to see if he's okay or not. We're very excited about our trip to Morgantown. West Virginia had a big win at TCU in overtime this weekend. Excuse me. But I've never been to Morgantown, West Virginia. We looked it up. It will be a high of 54 and a low of 41. So our big guys will like that after all the sun and the heat they play in Texas. They'll be pumped about it. We've heard so much about the atmosphere there and how great the fans are and how much they love football and love their team. So it'll be a fun challenge for us, but the guys are sure looking forward to it. Questions?
You spoke to a coach, but the stresses of the job, when you sit here and say the only thing that matters is wins, half the teams lose every week, all the external pressures, can you just kind of speak to what that toll that takes on a coach?
It really takes a toll on coaches, and what you have to do is you've got to be really, really careful and try to get some sleep. Coaches stay up most of the night, and you leave here at 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then you get up at 5 or 6, and so you're not sleeping very good at Casey's in between. And you've got to really watch what you eat and watch what you drink, because caffeine's a killer. I used to sit and drink Diet Cokes all the time and eat a bag of M&Ms while I was watching video at night. And you sit there and you're so into the video you don't even realize what you've done. And I cut out the caffeine and cut out the candy, and it's better. But it's a tough business. But there are a lot of tough businesses out there, and coaches handle it. And sometimes when we all get wake-up calls like John and like Gary, it helps everybody, because everybody knows we got to really take care of ourselves.
Pretty rare, I assume, when you have never been to a school. Is there anything you do differently to kind of manage it when you're taking not only the team but yourself someplace totally new?
No, we usually just call people that have been there and that have either coached there or coached against them and have traveled. And Greg Robinson will be a really good resource for us this week, because he coached at Syracuse and they were in the Big East with West Virginia, so he's been there a lot. So we'll lean on him heavily about I think we're staying 45 minutes from the stadium, and what kind of traffic will there be? Do you have to leave earlier? Will we have an escort? You're in the mountains, so that's different. So we'll be talking about all those type things.
Is Greg one of the only people on the staff who is familiar with Morgantown?
He is. I really haven't asked a lot of the others, but I knew Greg had done that. And we'll talk to other coaches in our league. Coaches and specifically football operations people in the league really work to help each other. So anybody who's been up there in our league last year or early this year, we'll call them and say just what came up. It's a hard place to play. Is there anything specific that we need to know about that are traps or things that might happen that we can try to avoid to help our team?
Will you all do a walkthrough there on Friday?
We will not, because we'd be an hour from Pittsburgh and then another 45 minutes to the stadium, and then you have to go back, and you'd be traveling more than you would be working out. So we'll go on game day and have fun. We'll probably go a little early and get there maybe 30 minutes before we normally would, just if traffic's an issue, and make sure they have a chance to walk around and get a feel of the stadium.
I feel like you're starting to figure out the balance with Jonathan and Malcolm of getting them both carries, yet at the same time kind of identifying who's hot and riding that particular one week to week.
We are. Larry Porter does that, and he and Major work on it because obviously certain play calls, Jonathan's better or Malcolm's better, and you want to know which one's in the ball game. But Malcolm's healthy and he's playing at a very high level, and he and Jonathan both are really being productive right now. And what we've got to do is continue to run the ball like we're running it, but we've got to have fewer no gains or 2-yard gains. We've come up with too many 2nd and 8s and 2nd and 9s, and we got to make 4 yards on those plays, and then give Major an opportunity to have his whole playbook on 2nd down 6 or 2nd down 5. So our big concern Saturday was we had too many plays in the running game that were less than 4 yards. And that'll be our big emphasis this week. Why? And what do we have to do to stop that?
How big a struggle have these first 2.5 years been for Malcolm, trying to stay healthy and trying to get where he thought he could be coming out of high school?
Yes, Malcolm's a great young man. He's been raised right. He's from a military family, and they're very disciplined, and they're great parents. And he is a guy who says very little. It's yes sir, no sir, and that's the way he was raised. But he's had a very difficult time because when he's been healthy, he's played really well. And then all of a sudden, he's been lost for weeks, too. A severe ankle injury that cost him about 6 weeks. So he's happy right now. He's excited for the success of the team. He's really a team guy, and he and Jonathan and Joe are really getting along well. So it's all working right now, and I hope he can stay healthy the rest of the year.
You mentioned trap after Kansas. Knowing what's ahead for the final 3 weeks, the fact that you're on the road, a team that just won, do you eliminate the notion that this could be any kind of trap? It's just a game. It's going to be a tough game.
Yes, I thought the trap was this Saturday because the emotion we spent and the delay at TCU and the emotion we had for Oklahoma. I thought this would be a tougher one because people weren't giving Kansas the credit, and they've got better players than credited, and they've played in games better. They haven't finished games, but they have improved, especially on defense and especially against the run. They've had their trouble through the air, and we didn't throw the ball consistently well on Saturday. But because we didn't play as well on offense Saturday as we wanted to, we did parts of the kicking game still weren't as good. Anthony Farah struggled some with his punting, and he hadn't had that happen. And we didn't kick the first couple out on kickoffs. There's enough things that we can work on. But these guys understand they are in like an NFL playoff for 4 weeks, and there's not much room for error. And they have as good a chance as anyone of winning the Big 12 championship. They just got to be good enough, and to do that, you got to play good enough. So there is no room for a letdown in these last 4 weeks.
Coach, looking at the defense and being able to see what they've been able to do, and I mean, I don't know that any of us were sure if they were going to be able to be at the point that they are looking at them at the beginning of the season.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a shocker.
You always pull up the stats. Anyway, I wanted to ask you, I guess, how grateful you are. You went the route you went. They were able to turn around. They're doing the things that they were suffering with in the beginning of the season, and just being able to see that transformation, because there was no guarantee that that was going to happen.
I'm really happy that for Greg Robinson that he's back in coaching, and he's had such a positive effect on our staff and on our team. He's really done a good job for us. I'm still sad that Manny had to leave, and really and truly, as I've said it many times, Manny's a great coach. For whatever reason, the chemistry wasn't working, and so I want him to get another job and have great success in his future. Greg's the old gray-haired guy that's been around, and he came in smoothly, and he put things in place. We were talking this morning about it was sad that he wasn't here a little bit longer for Ole Miss, because that's one we'd like to have back with him. But since that time, we've played great defense most of the time. And the question was, number one, would the defensive coaches buy into him? And Manny had friends on the offensive staff, so would the staff buy into him in such a short period of time? And Dwayne Aquina has been a savior for him, because Dwayne, who had worked with him before, they've been so close over this, I guess it's 7 weeks and 6 games now that he's been here. Which seems amazing that it's in that short period of time we've improved this much. But Greg was just talking about how comfortable he's feeling now, and how much the kids believe in what we're doing, and how the other 3 guys in the room have really reached out to him and brought him in. And what they did is they put all personal things aside for the best of this team. And I'm really, really proud of them. And the offense has done the same, and we're doing a better job of tying the offense and defense together, and that's where they're running the ball and keeping the defense off the field. And there's things are working really, really well right now, and it's a fun time. It's fun to watch the guys handle the adversity, pull together when everybody said they were through, come back and fight and overcome all of the things they had overcome, and now they got to handle success. And we've got to continue to improve. So it's really a tremendous amount of life's lessons for coaches out there, for our team, for our coaches that don't ever give up. Keep your head up, be proud, don't let people talk you into giving up. You just keep working, and you keep doing the things you need to do, and it's no different than our life every day. We've all got stuff, and we can't quit. We've got to continue to move forward with it and get rid of the distractions and move on. And that's what these guys have done.
Coach, what kind of a spark do you think Chris Whaley provided once again with that great scoop and score?
It was funny. Chris Whaley knew this would be a game that there wouldn't be as much excitement around because of Kansas's record. We just got back from a big wins at TCU in Oklahoma, so he actually pulled them up in pregame in the dressing room and started preaching to them. And then at halftime, he preached to them. And we all said at halftime, somebody has to spark this team. The offense is just doing okay. They're really not. They're not doing what we've been doing. We're not as sharp. And somebody's got to pick it up. Somebody got to make a play. And then all of a sudden, your great guys up front on defense, Jackson Jeffcoat forces Heaps to step up. Cedric Reed hits him and strips the ball out. It was funny that the ball hit the official's knee and pops up straight for Chris, and Chris says he's getting used to this now. He wants us to feed him more. And I said, well, the ones that you're getting, you're making it happen on your own. But for him to be the only defensive tackle in the history of Texas football to score twice is really unbelievable. And of course, he said he's not through, and then he started asking me about maybe touches on the goal line as a tailback or fullback. So I told him he's getting enough touches now.
Well, you go to West Virginia, you still got another Texan to deal with their running back, Sims. What does he present to you guys?
We know a lot about him because he was at Houston, and we've watched him throughout the last couple of years, and he's a top pro prospect and a really good football player, and that's where it all starts for him. Their running game is different than last year. It was all the passing game last year, and then Trayvon Austin in space. And this year they're going to line up and hammer the ball, and they've got 2 or 3 pro prospects in their offensive line. It's an older offensive line with juniors and seniors, and this will be a really good test for our defense, our front 7, to stop him and them.
After all the defensive ends that have come through here and have been so good for you, how good is Ced Reed, and is he kind of getting to that level of where the Aracos and Kindles and those guys have been?
Yeah, Ced Reed has come so far from this time last year when he stepped in for Jackson Jeffcoat. He's quiet. He's kind of shy. He's not going to say a whole lot. But what he's done is he's gotten so much stronger. But with his length, he's become one of the better pass rushers in the country. And he can get there, but he's got that knack of stripping the ball and hitting the quarterback. And we're really excited for Ced. He's playing at such a high level right now with he and Jackson both. And we've got 2 of our better defensive tackles in our history inside, so they're pushing the pocket back, and those guys are caving it in. So we're really doing a great job since early of getting pressure on the quarterback.
How do you describe that development you have seen among those 4 together?
I think, again, the combination of Greg Robinson and Oscar Giles and Bo Davis have all worked so closely together that they have really they have been critical of each other to a point that Greg's come in and said, hey, got to do this better, and we got to do this better, and that mesh has worked really well, and those guys now are in great stances, and they're playing with low pad level, and that defensive room has got a tremendous amount of confidence and pride right now in what they're doing, and they're pumped. They're fun to watch, and they're fun on Sunday, and nearly everybody on defense graded a winning performance, and they played really hard. And I think at 35-7, they were like 59 yards on 24 carries or something at that point in the game, so they did a great job of stopping the run again. And then we were disappointed when our seconds came in there in the fourth quarter that they didn't stop them quicker. But a lot of pride in that room, and that gives us a chance to be good here the last 4 games.
When you look at last year's West Virginia game, crazy shootout here, an electric atmosphere, didn't go the way you wanted. Is this game going to be totally different from that because of the way the offense is playing for you guys now?
One of the things that you learn about games is you have no clue what's going to happen. It's one of the fun things about sports, but specifically college football. And about the time you sit there and say that last week's TCU West Virginia game would have been a 10-7 game, it ends up with an overtime game of 30-27. So you just don't know. You just got to go play the game and let it play out. And you can't even anticipate. We sit there and anticipate what's going to happen. Then you have to just shelf everything if it doesn't happen that way and start over. And West Virginia intercepted the first pass of the game, first play of the game against TCU with a tip ball to get it started that way. So like we said, we need to do a better job on offense of no negative plays or very few less than 4-yard runs. We've got to go back and do that. We were better 3 weeks ago and then 2 weeks ago than we were Saturday, and that's important. And we've got to do a better job with play action, because we had our first sack in 9 quarters the other day, and there was more pressure on Case. So we've got to do a better job in those areas and not get so we feel so good about ourselves that we don't continue to get better. We rush. It's what Stacy Searles was talking about. We did rush for 255 yards. The guys up front played well, but still, again, that's not the expectation we have right now. We think we can do better than we're doing in the running game.